Right, hopefully we're here. Video. Right, hopefully we're here. Right. Down. Right, I've not started. I need to go and ball it. Just let me get that out. Get that out. Put that there. See what that looks like. I'm a bit tired today, so I need to move the camera. I'm having a mare this morning. I've walked miles to try and get a different peg, and then I decided it was pushing through too hard. And then I've set up. I've not brought the right cable for my phone. I've left that in the PC last night. And then I've also realised I've left a bag of worm at home, and I've left my casters at home. And I've decided to fish in a peg that's about 4 foot deep. So I don't know if this is going to pan out today. This could be the like 2 hours of disaster. But I'm here and I'm fishing. I've just realised I've not remembered that either. Hold on. Oh. A nightmare today. I was all excited to get back out to the river again today, and I think rushing's caused me some problems. Oh, right. I have, however, got some hooker worms. I've got some pinkies. I've got some maggot. I don't know if I'm going to catch anything in the peg. I didn't realise it was this shallow. So I'm fishing. I don't know if you can see. I was down there. That's the first life buoy, second life buoy, third life buoy. So I was on the third life buoy yesterday. I was down there. But today I've moved further up. That's the pub. That's the bridge that people walk over. And so I've parked in the car park. I've walked all the way down the road to the lock. Nice easy push down with the trolley. Then I've walked all the way back up to here. Then I've walked all the way down bars there. And I've walked all the way back up here and decided I'll fish here to determine whether there's some fish here or not. And then, because I have this discussion constantly with my son about, is there loads of fish here in the winter? And we have no idea, but I'm going to find out today. And I was doing a little, I was doing a lot of homework yesterday. Where do all the small fish go in the winter? The answer is elsewhere. Right? So I understand that they'll not be in the same places. They'll be held up in the deep water, or they'll have pushed into a stream somewhere along the river, a couple of tributaries. There's one on here called Swift Ditch, and that's to my I'm locked in between Abingdon Lock and then the lock at between Lower and Upper Moors on Sutton Courtenay stretch. But there's a few places around the back of this pub, by the way, or not by the way, but around the back of this pub. Further down there's another island. Further to my right there's an island. Places where I think might hold silvers. The River Ock flows into the river here as well. So they might be up there. So all sorts of places that silvers could go and hide. They're not going to be in front of me. It's really shallow, but I'm going to fish it anyway. And it might only be for a couple of hours because I think the phone's going to die. Because I forgot the cable. So that's all good. So I'll make up some balls. 6 balls again today, I think. Then we'll get straight back out there on double pinky on the 013 bottom, and then we'll try that for a bit and then we'll switch to worm. That's the plan. Yeah, it is really shallow in front of me. Right under my feet, it's my number 11 section. Well, not my number 11 section, but the one that makes it 11 metres. So it's a metre and a bit deep right under my feet. But I don't know if you can see. I'll just put this down. That's because I've got a bit of weed stuck on the line, so I'll be able to see. What's that? A couple of metres? There. So it's wherever that weed was. A couple of metres deep. Not even that. It's a 5 foot maybe? Oh, I thought it'd be a dot deeper than that here, but it is what it is. Right, let's ball it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The more I fish this river, the more I learn about it. You know, the more homework I do, the more things I pick up, the more now I understand that I'm not going to catch a roach here for love nor money. But I'm going to catch some chub properly and bream. So that's the target. Right, let's get myself hook length. Actually, I'm not even going to go for that 013. Let's start on work today. Let's start on work. 017 to a 12, that'll do. So I learnt loads yesterday on that little Christmas Day session. Catching those, just those 2 chub, made the whole day. And very thank you to the gentleman that took the picture for me. Although I did have to wait. I had people walking behind me all day. I was backing up, there was nobody. At one point I thought maybe no one's going to come, but eventually he came along with his daughter. I managed to get a picture. I don't know the way that's sitting. I think I've pushed and twisted this bead so much. The line can come off of there. It's meant to snap down one more little bit. Right. Sorry, I'm all over the place this morning. Can hear it in my voice. So let's see, I'm going to fish that same 55 gram. It holds just about. As I said, I've got enough worm for hookers today. But same before, I'll take the head off and the tail off. I take the head and the tail just for more juices out of them. Means the worm doesn't last as long, I've learnt. Right, so what we're putting in this ground bait today: pinky and maggot. I've got 2 kilo of worms in a fridge back at home, and I've got 3 pints of caster, and I managed to forget all of it. Although I was delighted that the local petrol station was open this morning, so I managed to get myself a coffee. So in that respect, it's a win today. So let's see. It's not windy today, it's lovely. Sun's out behind me. See how shallow that is. Right. That's it, we're fishing. Hope everyone had a nice day yesterday. And the day wasn't too stressful for anybody. So same setup as yesterday, same rig, pole feeder, 55 gram Preston feeder, 8 pound mainline Daiwa ST, 4 stops from Drennan to hold the pink hydro elastic in place. It's the usual pole feeder rig that I use. I'm going to make a change to them. I'm going to just make the elastic a bit shorter. I don't think I need quite so much elastic. But now I'm sort of learning more about fishing this river at this time of year. I'm now thinking that, you know, this approach is not correct. And actually, you should probably do the pole feeder. That's getting pulled, look at that tip. You should probably do the pole feeder more when the river starts to flood in earlier in the year. Or maybe later. I'll have to have a little think about this. Speak to some people. Because effectively, if all the silvers have gone, I'm only fishing for bream and chub. There's a few barbel in it. There's a picture down 200 yards to my left that says welcome to Abingdon on Thames, and there's a picture of a boat full of barbel in like 18 something or 1908, something like that. This stretch used to be absolutely full of barbel, but it was just overfished and poached. And there's still barbel in here today. I'm told they're up to, you know, mid double figures and better, but everyone's very secretive about them, unsurprisingly, I guess. So yeah, if I'm fishing for chub and barbel in this part of the river at this time of the year, then I'm best off just coming down with the 2 feeder rods. And I might do that still this week. I've got enough time. I'll come down with 2 feeder rods and some stinky groundbait. Morning salty, Merry Christmas, and fish it that way. But yeah, the bend in that pole today that wasn't there yesterday is telling me that feeder's struggling to hold just there. I'll swap it off for the one with extra lead on in a minute. See if it holds a little bit better. Well, I suspect it's just going to tumble through as well. With it being so shallow, you know, that water's pushing through really fast. And I plumbed around a little bit. It's the same sort of depth. The river widens up a lot here compared to just down there. There's an extra, you know, width to width. What's the difference there? 15 meters wider, maybe. I'm not sure how to judge that. And then the river splits just here, goes around this island. It's got a pub on it. It's really nice, actually. It's very expensive, but it's very nice. And so this is the deeper channel where the boats have to go, just in front of me here. And then the other side, it goes under a bridge. The water does flow, but it's very shallow through there. You can't go through there effectively. That sign over there says private mooring only, no fishing. And then this building is abandoned. Don't know what that used to be. And then you can see some people maybe just wandering across the bridge into the town. It's quite a nice place. That's my little tour of Abingdon. So I'm just thinking that feeder's going to still be on the bottom, I think, but it's getting pulled, which is why the pole is bent. But that means, and there is still more give in the elastic. Try the heavier feeder. See if it makes a difference. I've got an extra 3/4 of an ounce of lead on there. Better. There's definitely less of a bend in that pole now. I'm wondering if I should just fish under my feet, but maybe not. Just watching where the foam's coming through from the weir. So if I think about what's happening, that foam's going down the fastest part of the river. Right, where that water's flowing the quickest. But not where the river's the deepest. Then can I have a professional river angler come in the chat? Give me some advice, please. But I think it is, well, no, maybe that's not right, because it is deeper where I'm fishing than under my feet. Is the fastest and the deepest the same bit? No, can't be, because you get deeper holes. What I'm going to do in the summer, I'm going to rent a boat. There's a little boat rental place the other side of this road to my left. And I'm going to make myself up a cane. Just a piece of bamboo cane from the garden with foot markers on it. And I'm going to go and measure out the river, I think. I'll rent the boat. I'll have a bit of a laugh at trying to catch some chub off the side of the pub around the back of this bit here, and we'll go and check the depth in the river, so then we'll know. Is this bit that I'm fishing in front of me same depth as the bit right under my feet. I don't think it is. Yeah, I'll save all my river questions. I might phone up Coach Mark. It wasn't Coach Mark, just FYI. If you're watching this, when I was fishing at Gold on Christmas Eve, I called him up afterwards. Just hoping I don't call this thumbnail Boxing Day blowout. There's a danger that could happen today, I think. Oh, I've got some caster in that maggot. I'll put it in through the feeder. So I think you probably could still fish the pole feeder. Fish it for chub, and you need to intentionally be thinking about chub bait. You have to go and learn to make stinky cheese paste now, or something like that, aren't I? That's a big old pendulum on there. If I hook a good chub, this is going to be quite difficult to even just manage the fish, I think. More caster. Morning everybody. Join me for another day fishing the pole feeder on the Thames at Abingdon. I'm fishing a peg that looks a bit too fast and a bit too shallow. But we're out fishing. There could be worse things to be doing today. Come on, chub. Let's be having you. So I put a picture of that chub that I caught yesterday up on the community page on the channel. I didn't weigh it, but based on the one that I caught last week, you know, it's a good £4, if not a little bit more. Which is a great fish to have on a double fluoro pinky on a size 18, 013 bottom. Slightly unconventional, I feel, but great fish. So I think, as I understand it, the chub will be in the river all year round, but the river's also full of everything else, right? There's full of roach and dace and chublets and perch and everything like that. And what happens in the winter is all of those other fish just leave. They go off to deep holes in the river. They're balled up, sheltered somewhere. They go off into side streams, and that's why the river becomes effectively devoid of those fish. And then people come and catch chub. So people say that the chub show in the winter, it's not because the chub turn up, it's that everything else leaves. That's, as I understand, how this is working. I'm trying to teach myself river fishing, if anyone's a bit confused. But so that's what I think, that's how it works. Everything else just clears off, so the only fish you catch are the chub. Because that piece I fished yesterday, in the summer, it's a fisher chuck, roach, and dace. And then yesterday it was 2 fish in 4 hours. And that's probably because it's chub only, and I'm not fishing the right methods to catch more chub. Needs smellier baits, smellier ground bait. So I've got a few ideas of how I could make it better. So I think what I'll do is I'll fish like this today. I'm having tomorrow off fishing. It's going to pour down tomorrow, and then I'll come back to the river. I'll probably fish this stretch again, but a different style. I'll fish it 2 rods up in the air with feeders, or one with a feeder and one with a bomb, something like that. But smellier baits, either halibut pellets, boilie, or make myself some paste, something like that. I think that's the thing to do. just going to top that worm with a couple of fluoro pinkies, actually. Let's put some big maggot in with those casters. Good job that's a power kit in the end of this pole. When that feeder comes off, that's a lot of force. I've got the extra 3/4 of an ounce of lead stuck on the side of that 55 gram. So I think, what is it, 25 grams to an ounce, something like that. Not quite sure of the ratio. 30 grams to an ounce, not sure. It's a couple of ounces anyway. I'm swinging around on the end of a pole. Wow, my phone's losing power really quickly. Down at 85%. Cheers, Apple. So I've managed to cleverly forget my the correct cable for my phone today, as well as forgetting my caster and forgetting my other bag of worm. So it might not be the longest session today. But as I keep saying, you know, time on the bank to fish and think about what's going on is just really valuable in terms of trying to improve your fishing. And having not fished a river really before until this season, I've got a lot to learn. Come on, chub, or bream, or barbel. There's carp in this stretch as well. Who knows? Right, it's a little bit nippier than I thought it was going to be, so I'm just going to put my coat on. Bear with me a minute. Thought it was going to be warmer today. Camera attached to the power in my pocket. Right, that's a bit better. Right, let's switch over and just fish a bunch of maggot on the hook. Oh. Give that a go. that go? So it's a week of discovery this week about fishing the river in winter, what to expect, and I'm learning that all the small fish just disappear out of the main river up into side streams and away from all the action, which just leaves the bigger fish, the chub, the bream, the barbel, the odd carp. So regardless of the fact you can't run a float through it, even if you could, there wouldn't be any fish here to catch. But when I first fished the pole feeder at the back end of the year, I know it's the end of the year now, but when the river started to flood or started to come up, those fish were still in the river or still there to be caught. So I think that the method has a little bit of a limited shelf life, unless you then switch it to intentionally be fishing for chub, in which case I should change the ground bait mix and I should change the hook bait, which I think you could do, but I'm probably better off sitting there with 2 rods and feeders out if I'm going to fish like that. But you don't know it till you try it. I think I might chop a little bit of worm. I've got some worm. I could chop and I'll put it in the next balls of ground bait. How much worm have I got? That much. That means I can chop that, no problem. So I can probably chop that much. Tasty, doesn't it? So I'll put that in the ground bait. I'll put another couple of balls. What's the time? I've just gone 10. Another couple of balls in. In fact, let's put more because I don't think the phone's going to last. What's it, 80%? Okay, the pole's gone right round, I don't know why. Doesn't look like a fish. No, it's a stick. Doesn't want to come off. get it back out. Two now, and then I've got enough for two more in an hour's time. Groundbait mix is the same as yesterday, well, pretty much the same. Black River, this time it's regular brown roach and 30% soil. I think what I'll do is, the next time I fish the pole feeder like this, if I do it now in the winter while it's in flood, well, it's not really flooded yet, the river, but it's, you know, high and pushing through, I'll switch it to as you said, it's not really high, it's just pushing through fast because they open the gates to let the river run out. You can tell by the steps over there on the pub, pretty much the same height as it is in the summer. It's not much different. So I will I'll fish it with a dynamite or whatever, Big River smelly groundbait. I can't remember who makes it, you know, like a krill or something like that, or cheese. I will pop into the local tackle shop and see what's available. Got something smelly. Right, where were we? So I've got 5 maggots on size 12, 017 bottom, £8 main line. And the river's pushing through a little bit faster where I am today. I've got a 55 gram feeder, but I've got 3/4 of an ounce lead stuck on the side of it. And I guess I'm looking for a chub or a bream. Although, as it turns out, it's not actually very deep, this peg, and I think those fish would be in the deeper water, but I didn't know it till I fished it. So, as I was saying, I might come down in the river, come down the river in the summer, rent a boat, and just plumb the whole thing. There's enough far bank markers to measure against, you know. So hopefully if something grabs it, it's going to be very clear that something's grabbed it. I feel it in the end of the pole. Can't see there, 10 past. Right, we'll give this one till 20 past and then we'll put another feeder full of bait in. It took 2 hours to get a bite yesterday. And the water was slightly slacker than where I'm fishing now. I've no idea. I think it was a bit deeper too. Which is terrible because I should know. It was only yesterday. Morning everyone. Having a nice Christmas break. I'm back out again on the Thames at Abingdon. I'm fishing to the left of where I was yesterday, more towards the town and the bridge. And I'm trying to put some thoughts from yesterday into practice. Thinking about what I'm learning about the river, the fish that are available right now to catch. I'm just trying things out again for the second day. Pretty similar, see if I get a different result. The peg I've picked is a bit shallower, it's a bit faster. I was going to fish down towards the lock today, but the river was pushing through too fast. Down there where it comes off of the lock and the weir, where it comes out the weir. So I've certainly put some steps in this morning. I walked down from the car park all the way down to the lock, then all the way up the river, down the river here, then all the way back up the river, trying to find a spot that I thought would be good. And it seemed like the most sensible one downstream from where I was yesterday, and give it another go. Last night I was doing some research, you know, where do the small fish go in the river in the winter, you know, trying to understand that the smaller fish disappear from the main body of the river. They either sit in a deep hole, balled up somewhere, sitting on the bottom not doing much, or they go off into side streams and get out of the main flow, which leaves only the bigger fish, chub, barbel, bream, carp, I guess, that will continue to patrol the river in the winter and continue to feed. Chub being the main species, which might explain why last week on the match I had 3 chub and yesterday I had 2 chub. You'd probably think I could have deduced that already on my own, that it's chub fishing weather. But it's nice to try and understand why, you know. It's not about the location, it's the fact that they're the fish that feed at this time of year. And if that's the case, then I need to remember what I've learnt now for next year, you know. Then I need to change the baits completely, change the ground bait for a stinkier ground bait, a krill or a cheese, base ground bait, and then change for a stinkier hook bait. You know, either a pellet, you know, halibut pellet, I guess, or cheese paste, or something that's a lot smellier that's going to attract the fish. But I don't have those to hand. I thought I'd fish the same again today as I did yesterday. See if I can catch another chub doing this. Out there, out there, out. Go to your mum, dad. You're going to get told off, you are, dog. I swear that all dogs were fishermen at some point. They all love to come over. And all dog owners have absolutely no control over their dog unless they want to lead. The dog just does what it wants. There we go, more shouting at the dog. The dog's just going to ignore her. Makes me laugh. Something's caught up on that line again. Yeah, it's a bit of rubbish. It's not very deep at all where I'm fishing. It's probably completely the wrong peg to fish today, but I didn't know until I've shipped it out, and I've been walking around for about an hour beforehand, so I didn't fancy the paper. I didn't fancy walking around for another couple of hours. Time on the bank will tell me where the good pegs are. Yeah, we're looking. Yeah, a bunch of maggots, still good. Right. More cast, alright, oh my god. Try to do 10-minute casts, I think. So I'm going to have tomorrow off fishing, and then I'll be back fishing on, I don't know what the day is. Christmas Day was what, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it's Thursday. I think I might go back to Gold Valley and try and get a day in on the Syndicate Lake before I fish another match on the Syndicate Lake. I want to try fishing it as I think you should fish it following the match. So I might go back to Gold for a day and have a quick practice. And I also want to try and get up to Tunnel Barn Farm, or over to Tunnel Barn Farm, down to Tunnel Barn Farm, that'd be right. And then also a day up to, no, down to Royal Berkshire, up to Tunnel Barn Farm. Brain's not working. So if I can get all three of those venues done this week, and then maybe a match at Gold at the weekend to finish it off. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then maybe come back to the river on Monday. Practice at Gold, Tunnel, Royal Berkshire, match at Gold, back to the river. Something like that. Yeah, something like that. I think that might be the sequence. This is clearly fishing for a chub or a bream. You could do this in the summer along here for big perch, because there are big perch down here. So you could fish the pole feeder for big perch. corner. We've got corner rig. I'm sitting now, I've seen you type something. I need to just pick the phone up because I've had to turn the brightness down because I forgot the power cable for it. Yeah, well, I think so. I think so. Well, certainly this isn't the way to fish it. I think definitely one of those krill ground baits. I have to do a little bit of homework on chub baits. I used to catch chub in the river Blackwater with slugs, but I think that was just because they were so hungry they'd eat anything you'd chuck at them. But you know, natural baits and all that. But yeah, I'll have a look. Either that or maybe a halibut pellet, maybe soaked in some kind of glug. I don't know. I'll have to do my own work. I suspect that I definitely need something smellier, and I think I've learned what I need to learn now about which fish are active in the river at this time of year. And I don't think I'm going to catch a roach, so next time I'm going to change the bait, and I might just come down and fish with 2 feeder rods. I can fix that and do that too, so all that's possible. Well, there's a load of spots on this stretch where if I'm going to fish like that and try and catch a chub, there's a load of spots on this stretch. What is it? Excuse me. At least 3 or 4 places that have got trees in the edge where I think they might hold a chub. There's one to my right, up towards the lock. There's one to my right, 2 to my right. Yeah, 2 to my right, and then there's 2 to my left. Where there's trees on this bank. Yeah, I think you've got the dynamite river krill. I think they also do the river cheese paste, or the river cheese. But yeah, it's the dynamite range I think you need to get your hands on. But we'll give it, you know, we're here for a couple of hours. Been an hour and a half. We'll carry on. It took 2 hours to get a bite yesterday. So I will. Quite annoyed that I forgot my worm today. How much worm have I got? That much worm. So I could chop that much, no problem. Yeah. Just chop that much. And I'll put Next chuck in, I'll go back on a worm. Put some chopped worm through the feeder. I'm going to put another 2 balls of ground bait in at the top of the hour. All about learning though, you know what I mean? You've got to try things. Oh. Right, so those maggots were chewed. I didn't see a bite. Okay. Let's put a bigger dendrobina on. I will just take the end of the tail off, so it's a big bait. I'm going to put chopped worm and pinkies in this one. What's had a nibble of those then? They were smashed, those maggots. There's a bleak smashed them. Yeah, I was saying earlier, this is shallow. You know it's shallow. But I was going to say I was going to get a boat in the summer, and I'll mark up a garden cane, and I'll just do the whole stretch. This is 6 foot deep, I think. It's not very deep at all, this part. No fish yet. Yeah, it's a bit shallow as well, I've realised, but you don't know till you set up.
That's it, isn't it?
About a couple of chub yesterday further down, so.
Oh, yeah.
£4 was probably the biggest one.
Oh, that's nice fish.
So I was happy with that.
Fished in months, I've just been busy really. You know, before you know it, you think, oh, I've got time here. Before you know, about 5 months has gone.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do know what that's like.
I haven't fished the river since just before the end of last week. But yeah, it was probably down amongst the trees where it was. I had a 5.5 pound chub there.
Further down that way, towards the lock.
On the other side.
Yeah, I was going to fish by, what is it, Tiger Island or whatever it was today, but it was pushing. I walked down the lane to the lock, and then walked backwards this way, and then I thought it's fishing. No, it's too fast.
Yeah.
to fish the pole feeder, but
Is that what you're on there?
yeah.
I've not seen that before actually.
Yeah.
I don't have a pole, but wait, rascal. No eating maggots or anything.
Yeah, don't eat that. You'll be throwing that up later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. £8 main line down to a speed stop, hook length, running feeder, and then what you can see there is 2 sets of gripper stops, and pink hydro. Yeah. So when the fish pull on the rig, they're pulling against the pink hydro, which is really soft. There's like a D of line that comes out, a loop of line. Yeah. So that's really soft. So you feel that, and then when you strike it, the pink elastic will bottom out, and then you're just playing the fish on £8 main line. Yeah. Oh, allows you to be a lot more accurate than lobbing a feeder, and it holds it in place. Yeah.
Oh well, have a good one.
Thanks, pal. Fingers crossed. Right, my phone is losing power at a phenomenal rate by the look of it today. Just see what else is thingy I need to get rid of. Nothing. Right, get rid of that. Right. Yeah, I forgot the cable for it yesterday. Today I came out, I thought I had plenty of time, but I was trying to pull the footage off of the SD cards yesterday. I've got this camera and the camera to my left, and to make a little video out of yesterday's session, and I've managed to leave the cable for the phone in the PC, and I've managed to forget my caster, which is on the side, it's on the workbench, I know exactly where it is, and I've forgotten my other bag of worms. Because what I was going to do today, after yesterday, was I was just going to put a load of worm in. You know, I was going to chop up like half a kilo of worm, and really, you know, that was going to be the difference from yesterday to today. And then I've gone and forgotten the worm. So instead I put a lot more dead maggot. A lot more dead maggot in the ground bait. To see if that would make a difference. But in the end I've ended up fishing pretty similar. Oi, Dennis. 2 chub yesterday, Dennis. If you look at the video from yesterday, in the description I put a timestamp, so you can click on the timestamp and it will show you where I catch the first chub, and then the second chub I have just after it. And it's worth it just for the comedy watch, because I've hooked this chub. My rig's on a top 5, so it's a long old rig. I've got this 4-pound chub on the end that's basically swimming where it wants in the peg, and I've got an 013 bottom, so I don't want to bully it, and I can't net the fish. And then eventually I have to put another section of pole on, so it's quite funny. It's a bit of a disaster, but it was a nice 4-pound chub, 4 pound plus, and I put a picture on the community tab so you can see it. So yeah, it was an interesting day. I've 2 hours, nothing. Then I had 2 fish in 2 chucks, and then nothing. Just as if this, you know, these chub had just sort of were moving through the peg. Out of there, dog! Out of there! Hey, out of there! Out of there! Don't eat that! Don't eat that! Oi! Out! It does make me laugh. You know, I've never owned a dog, but I'd say 95% of the dogs that get walked along this stretch of river, none of them do what their owners want them to do. They just don't have any control over them at all. Dog wants to come over, mooch around my gear, dog's going to do it. Owner can shout whatever they want. Come here, come back, stay, do what you want. The dogs are like, no, not interested. There's a fisherman, I'm going to go and have a look, have a chat. And then you know, the owner just stands there shouting at the dog, completely unable to control it. They probably tell themselves that they're fully in control of their dogs. It does make me laugh. I don't mind the dogs at all. It's quite hilarious, to be honest. But yeah, so we fished yesterday for 2 hours, then had a couple of fish and then nothing for the next 2 hours. So the conclusion was I needed to have smellier baits. And today I was going to put a load of chopped worm through. And then I've managed to forget it. Which is just classic. I'm a bit confused about those maggots though, because something's clearly had to go on those maggots. And maybe it's a crayfish. But I didn't feel anything. And it's a sensitive rig, even though, you know, it's a big old feeder and strong line, and, you know, if you get a small fish grabbing on the end of that, you can still feel it. God, it's like a hot dog smell. Where does that come from? Maybe the pub's open. I guess the pub will be open today for lunch. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just fish for another hour and just go and sit in the pub. Yeah, the indicator's the elastic. So on the well, two really. That's not strictly true. So when the fish, let's imagine it's a small roach for a minute. When a small roach grabs that bait and pulls that hook length, you know, it's the feeder's free running, so the fish ends up pulling against the pink hydroelastic, which is just tied on the line, and you can feel that, you know, even if it's a, you know, 1 ounce fish, when it grabs it and pulls that all tight and shakes its head, you can feel that through the pole. So I've got my hands on the pole, so you can see I'm always holding the pole. So when anything grabs it, you can feel it. But then the bigger the fish, you can then see it move the pink elastic. So I'm watching the pink elastic and the tip, and you can also see movement in the tip of the pole. So, you know, all those things, you can feel it through the pole, you can see the elastic move, and then if it's big enough, the pole tip will move before the pink elastic bottoms out. So yesterday when I was getting the bites from the chub, I could feel it through the pole, and I could see the pole tip wiggling, as well as the pink elastic stretching a little bit. So you've got sort of 3 indicators. So I can look away and look around and still be happy that I'll feel it through the pole. What's interesting about those maggots that were chewed, I didn't feel anything. So I'm a bit confused about why I didn't feel anything at all. Now it's a 1 metre hook length. The fish could have grabbed it and swum up the river. That is a possibility, and then you wouldn't feel it. But yeah, lots of indications, lots of ways to sense the bite. It's a great way to fish. I really enjoy it, actually. You know, I've only done it, you know, what's this, the 4th or 5th time I've gone out and fished it. I fished it today, yesterday. I fished it on a match a few weeks ago, and I fished it on the upper moors for a day. So yeah, I've only fished it 3 times, this method. It's great fun though. There's a few things you've got to get right. You've got to get your little, you know, attachment on the side of your pole correct in the right place, so the feeder doesn't splosh into the water before you ship it out properly. You know, you got to get that right. You can also fish it with if you put 2 pieces of silicone on below the elastic, you can also put an indicator on it. So if you get yourself a tip like that, that's come out of my flat floats. You get loads of extra tips with flat floats. If you put a little bit of silicone on either end of that, you can put that on the line and you can effectively fish that as a float. So you can put that down to where where it meets the water, and you can actually use that as a float. But I found it was, you know, I did it once like that and then thought, actually it's unnecessary because I'm holding the pole all the time. It was just something added, and I thought it'd give a little bit more resistance than I wanted. But you could do that as well. There's a video where Matt Godfrey shows how to do that. It's an old one, about 10 years. It's on YouTube. But I did that on the first rig and then I took it off. I didn't think it was needed. You know, if that float goes under, if it pulls, you know, if it pulls an inch worth of rig, you're going to feel it, no problem. But yeah, I think it's really good fun. And the other thing about this, fishing this pole feeder, is it's extremely accurate. You know, it's not like slinging a feeder out. I've got the pole out when I'm balling it, which I need to do at the top of the hour, 10 minutes. You know, when I'm chucking the balls of ground bait in, it's extremely accurate because I know where I'm chucking them to. And when I put that feeder in, it's going in the same place every time, so it's really accurate. So you get the accuracy of fishing the pole with the benefit of fishing the feeder. It's a great little method. It's not the kind of rig I want to use at Tunnel Barn Farm, but people do. I know people do. You know, when you've got people are trying to fish to the islands in venues like Tunnel, you know, you could argue that sometimes it's easier to swing this rig out than it is to hold 16 metres of pole, but it's not as accurate then. Then you start to lose accuracy of, you know, the fish needing to pull versus the bite, and then the resistance and the fish letting go and all that jazz. So at that point it loses its appeal. But you could do it for carp, no problem. You could definitely do it for carp. But then there's other things I'd rather do. So I think it's got its time, this rig, in this in the river, but I'm not sure this part of the year is the right time. I definitely think this is worth doing through the summer months for perch. Big perch I'm talking about. I think that'd be good. I don't know just the spot. I'll fish it. There's a video of me catching a big perch on a flat float further up the river towards the lock. I definitely think you could use this method there to catch big perch in the summer. So I'll definitely give that a go. But maybe it's alright if you were fishing a match. I think it's still a good method with the right baits. But if you're pleasure fishing, you know, you're probably better off fishing 2 rods and a feeder on each. I think that might be the best setup if I was pleasure fishing. But certainly in a match where it's a short feeder chuck, I think this is good. Definitely feel the difference in the temperature today. It was, I think it was 10 degrees yesterday, and I think it's 8 degrees today, even with yesterday's wind. I can certainly feel the temperature difference on my fingers today. i.e. they're cold. 4 balls in, I think. Whew, it's gold. Got a little bit of rubbish on that line somewhere. That tip's bent, but it's just bent round slowly. It's not fish. Right. Let's board it and then get back out. Right, let's do the hook bait again. Oh, lovely, thanks mate. I'll have a little read. Right, let's go. Live maggot, live pinky cocktail. Some pinkies in there and some chop worm. Afternoon everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'm just having a second day of fishing the pole feeder on the Thames in Abingdon. Yesterday I had a cut of chub. There's a video on my live section for that. I time-stamped it where I caught the fish, so there's a couple of chub yesterday. I'm just learning more about the river the more I fish it. I thought I'd come back today and do something a bit different and put a load of chopped worm in, and then left the worm at home. So I'm fishing it similarly as I did yesterday. The river's, actually I don't think it's faster, I think it's just faster here. It widens out but shallows up. compared to where I was yesterday. So it's a little bit faster. I've put a 3/4 ounce lead on the feeder. It's just doing its job at holding it where I need to hold it, but I think it's a bit shallow, this peg. But we'll find out. Took 2 hours to get a bite yesterday, and then I had a couple of fish. So we'll fish for 3-ish hours today, I think. I haven't got a lot of power on my phone. Don't know what my Nightbot's doing. And but yeah, as it said, this is the time of the video where I'll say, if you're watching the channel and you enjoy it, hit that subscribe button. It's a free way to support the channel. I really appreciate it, and it helps with visibility. And there's not enough live angling on YouTube, I think, so anything to do to promote it, I think. I like watching angling videos, but I do also enjoy the concept of it being live, you know. You see it all, warts and all, mistakes. There's no outtake videos because it all just happens. Tangles are my best. I'm a master at getting out of tangles. If you watch my videos, you'll know that. But yeah, I think I've got a lot of water here in front of me, and I thought it was deeper here because this is where the side the boats run through, but it's not. So I've been caught out by the river today. But if I was a chub, I'd be sitting in that channel up there. I think this is an island to my left. I don't know if you've ever been to Abingdon. This is an island on my left. This pub's called the Nag's Head, and the river runs either side of it. This is the side the boats go through, and then you can get through, but it's really shallow on the other side. If you sit in the pub and you look towards that way to where's that boat, you can feed the chub all day long, and they're massive. You know, don't get me, you know, I'm not over exaggerating. If they're not £7, I'm surprised. They're absolutely huge, the chub that live the other side of the pub. And there's a waterway that runs underneath the pub, and I think that they live in and around there. I think that's a great place. But I fished here today, actually, not through choice. I wanted to go nearer to the lock, but there was obviously some rain upstream, and it looked like it was coming through even faster than it was the last couple of days. It looked like it was, you know, this is not the right method to fish when it's that fast. So I thought I'd come down here and just give this spot a go, because my son and I fish this in the summer quite a lot. I've done a piece down to the left here on the stick float. I've caught loads of fish on the stick float. I've caught chub under that bridge. I've caught a pike out in the middle here using a dead crayfish bait, an imitation crayfish bait, or crawdad as the US would call it. And so yeah, we fish this bit quite a lot, catch loads of perch. It's undercut. There's something special about that pole. It's an indicator, but there's a load of perch that live just under there. Whether there's an outlet or an inlet, or it's undercut, I don't know, but it's a great drop shot peg for perch down there. And we've had perch £3 plus off of the edge of this island here. So there's loads of fish here in the summer. So I thought I would have a check to see what it's like in the winter. And I'm currently blanking. But you know, you've got to try it to find out. Yeah, good point, David. Actually, good point. Maybe I should be on 10-minute recasts. I don't know how fast though, you know. The water at the top of the river moves significantly faster than it does on the bottom of the river. Those balls I put in are rock hard. But I'm refeeding it. I'm topping it up every hour with at least 2 balls. Put 2 balls in before, I put 4 balls in now. But you may be right. I think what the issue is today, or where I would need to change this setup, is to fish a much smellier ground bait and a smelly hook bait. But as I've said, time on the bank, learn a lot. But yeah, maybe we'll stick to 10 minutes. I think it's probably not been more than 10 minutes I've left it anyway, to be in fairness. It's not been longer than that, I don't think. Probably do this one at 15:15. I think that'll be 10 minutes. So we'll be in for a bit of a change up for the rest of the week. I'm going to take tomorrow off. I think tomorrow is a terrible rain day around these parts. So I'm going to give tomorrow a miss. And then over the course of the next 4 days, I think it's going to be a trip to Gold Valley, practice on the Syndicate Lake. I want to check a couple of things out following the match I had there Sunday. And then a trip to Royal Berkshire fishery. I'll stream that if I can get a signal in that area, and then up to Tunnel Barn Farm. I'll try and fish somewhere where I can get a signal. It's a bit sporadic over the venue, but I'll see if I can find somewhere that's got a decent signal, and then do another match at Gold, I think. I'll check the fixture list when I get home today. And then maybe another day back on the river. With 2 rods, or maybe I go and fish this bream peg. Interestingly, there's been no decent mobile signal around here since I've been fishing it, the back of last year. And then through the summer, and I've got a 5G reception now, so they must have stuck another mast up somewhere, which is awesome. I hope the reception's alright, but I think it's all, looks like the town's had a bit of an upgrade. I was trying to use the pub's free Wi-Fi last year and it didn't really work. It's rubbish. Right. Caster, pinky, big maggot. past. Yeah, I did it the earlier on in the season, David. I excuse me. I think I put a video of it. The first time I tried it was at a stretch of water called the Upper Moors, which is used in the Thames Festival here on the Thames. And it's a Sutton Courtenay stretch. And I fished it on the Upper Moors on peg 7. I fished it 3 days in a row, and the third day I fished it on a pole feeder. The first day I caught 3 fish, I think, maybe. And I can't remember how I was fishing, but I caught 3 fish the first day. I blanked the second day, I think it was. And then I fished a pole feeder, and I caught a load of fish. Good, like you say, good sized roach. And that was when the river started to carry extra water, but it was at the back of the year, so I don't know when it really was. September time, maybe? I'll have to go back and check the video. So the roach and stuff was still in the river, and I had a great day. I had some roach, some silver bream, and some other bits, but I had a great day on it and thought it was great fun. I think I made a YouTube short, actually, put it on the channel, of the first fish I caught, because I thought it was just like, you know, amazing. Like, it's a fish, it's a fish. And I really like the accuracy of it. When the river's pushing through and you can't run a float, and you're fishing a distance that you can get onto the pole. I think the pole feeder outdoes a feeder rod every day. You know, there's no way that the rod would compete with the accuracy of this. And I thought I'd just try it through the winter to see then what happens. But as it happens, I'm learning more about the available fish at this time of year, because there's certainly not any roach here for sure. It's good fun, I'm enjoying it. It's nice to be out, even though I'm not catching. But I think a few more carp and F1s at the back of this week will go down nicely. Morning, Simon, how you doing? No, it's today's a day about learning, Simon. I'm not catching, and it gives me plenty of time to think about what's going on in the river. But no bites today. I think there's a few things that are going against me. One, my bait's not smelly enough for the chub that are probably available. This peg here is shallower than I was expecting. I think it's only about 6 foot deep. Which is shallower than yesterday. But yeah, the main issue I think is the bait's not smelly enough to attract the chub. Now I had a couple of chub yesterday, you know, so, and it wasn't too dissimilar, but I don't think the odds are stacked in my favour today. But I wanted to fish this. I didn't come to fish this peg. I came to fish a peg closer to the lock, to the right actually, further upstream. But it was pushing through a bit harder than it was the previous days, and I thought it wasn't going to be any good. So I sort of wandered down here to see if I could find a spot. And as I was saying, we catch loads of fish here in the summer. If this was the summer and I was running a float through, I'd be having a field day catching roach, dace and chublets. Right now though, there's better spots to fish, I think. But we're out, you know. Can't grumble. Yeah, I think it's great, David. The first time, as I said, you know, you read a little bit about a rig, or you watch a video and you go, oh right, okay, that could be fun. And then you hook a fish on it, it's great. And I've had some good fish on it, you know. I've fished it 3 times. And I've had, you know, a couple of 4-pound chub, some other chub. Did I have a bream on it? No, maybe I didn't. But you know, you just hook the fish and just watch that elastic bottom out and then play it on the main elastic. It's just a very clever method. Although as you can see in yesterday's video, I really hadn't thought about it enough in terms of netting the fish. I got it out, but it was a little bit of a drama. more minutes and then we'll bring it back in again. Right, switch back over to a worm maggot again. Those hookups from Preston, I think it is, work perfectly for attaching that rig to the side of your pole while you ship it out. I'm not sure that's really what they envisaged their usage would be when they made them. You know, it's for sticking hooks against. But one of those hookups and a bit of electrical tape is perfect. You see some people in the videos online, they say around using a cable tie, but I think you can over tighten a cable tie and crack your pole, and then you've got the hassle of trying to cut it off. But this works perfectly. Graham's top tip: Preston hookups and electrical tape. Right, what time's this one? 25 past. What we've got left on the phone? 44. We've got about another hour's fishing, I think. Well, you need a pole and you need a bump bar. You can't do it without the bump bar. You've got to have the bump bar. I wouldn't want to try and hold it. That would be wrong. Come on, chub. Show your face. Got the unfortunate thought going through my head that I'm going to be making a thumbnail for this video later called Boxing Day Blank. Although I do know that at any given moment that elastic could just tighten up and the pole could bend round to the left and there could be a fantastic chub on the end of it. So I won't lose hope. Oh, there's another dog. Look at you, let my groundbait. Out, 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 out. Well, the dogs like the mix anyway. Out. Out. Out, ground bait. I was just making a mess at your dad's house. So the dog doesn't do what it's told. This one's called Bailey. I just keep thinking about, I try and catch these dogs. Oh, there's a cormorant the other side of the river. And see if it catches. Alright, it's dived. I don't know where it's come from, I've just seen it pop up opposite me. It's the cormorants fishing on the far bank. There it is. Wow, that can swim fast. That is crazy. You gonna come up? Where's the... That's in front of me then. Surely that fish was spooked by the cormorant. Okay. Where's the cormorant? There it is. I guess that's on camera. Now the cormorant's off. I guess it spooked that fish. I've got it on the same, no, it's on the same side as the puller. So it works perfectly. This time we can bring that out. Yeah, it's in line with the puller. Or pretty much in line with the puller. Before I had it slightly offset and it was catching the puller bung. Now it just runs through perfectly. Well, it slides off perfectly. So yeah, the puller's up there. It's pretty much the same place. Grab another dog with its head in the ground bait in a minute. Oh yeah, for sure. I fish, I do fish, I guess. A lot of matches in the valley. And in a good hour at Gold Valley you can do £100 of fish. I think I've got one of my earlier videos. I hadn't caught much for the first 2.5 hours of the match. Well, the first 3 hours of the match maybe it was, and then I had a blinding final hour. Just to fish a chuck on the bomb. So yeah, you're right, you never know what's going to happen. The difference to that is, of course, if you're fishing a place like Tunnel Barn Farm and you're not on the pace after the first hour, you're in trouble, you know. It becomes very hard to make things up. Someone coming up in a boat. I wouldn't have thought today was a nice day for a boat trip on the rivers, personally. It's freezing cold. In fact, their little boat's struggling against the current. So I've only got 30% power left on the phone and no way to charge it, so I think we've probably only got about half hour left, which is a bit of a shame, but I'll have fished for 3 hours. I'll make a little edit of the video yesterday. I need to do an edit of the one from Gold as well from the weekend and get that on the page. Tell you what, do you want to do a better job at driving in my swim? Don't want to drive over the other part of the river where I'm not fishing. Cheers. Love it. I think I've made this comment in the about boat traffic on the river before. There's 3 categories of boat traffic on the river. First, you've got canal boats. Canal boat drivers are absolutely lovely people. They're chatty. They try and avoid your peg as much as possible. You know, just a real pleasure, you know, in terms of there's boat traffic going along. And then you've got the rowing boats. You know, they're competitive. You know, there's a boat club in Abingdon. You know, and they're hacking up and down, and they're generally all right, the boats themselves, but the guide boats that go with them, my experience is that 75% of those are pretty arrogant, as if, you know, you're an inconvenience because you're using the river as well as they are. And then you get pleasure boat people who are just lunatics. Just lunatics. They go herring up the river. They don't have any consideration for anyone else. And you know, I'd be quite happy if I didn't see another one. That's my generalisation. Obviously that's not all people. I'm sure there's some very nice pleasure boat users, and I'm sure there's some very nice people that go out marshalling boats for competitions. I'm sure they're all very nice people, but if I had to pick, I'd have canal boat people all day long with their long boats, because they're nice and they're chatty. And you really get a feeling of the fact that you're sharing the waterway with them. You know. Anyway, back to fishing. A lot more people walking about today on the river. I guess Christmas Day is not the biggest day for coming out, I guess Boxing Day is, but there's quite a lot of people out today. Right, let's just try topping that worm with the maggot. So let's try. Double maggot, put the space on that hook. And then big maggot and pinky. A bit more chopped worm in the feeder. Call 2. 30% left. Afternoon, everybody. Just joined. You catch me on the River Thames at Abingdon for another day fishing the pole on the feeder. Unfortunately today, no action. It's a little bit quiet. Come on, fish. Suddenly a lot more ripple on the river. I don't know where that's coming from, whether it's speeding up. It can't be the after wake of that boat. It's gone. It's long gone. I can hear the river lapping against the far bank now, though. I haven't been able to all morning. I can hear the river as it hits the island there. And it's always there, but I can hear it lapping against the far bank now. Oh, there's another dog. Oh, no. I bet it is from that boat then. This is better. I really don't know why you want to go that fast though, to be honest. Probably because it's freezing cold and they're realising it's a rubbish day to be out on the boat. Temperature's definitely dropping though. It feels like the temperature's dropping. Come on, chub. Or bream. There's a lot of good bream in this stretch. I thought they may have showed the last couple of days. How much we got left on the phone? 30, all good. All good. Might get to 5-2 and then we'll recast it again. I think cast's the right phrase, but and the right word, but I shall do it now because it looks like it's a bit of knock on the line, yeah. Where is I sit here on this river and it's clear that most people that wander past Had never seen a pole before. The look of just complete bemusement on their faces. Whereas it's completely alien to me that you would never have seen a pole, you know. I just don't think. Where's that cormorant again? A lot of people just don't fish the pole down here, you know. Or on the river in general, I guess. I assume that most people that they see fishing on the river, they're either walking down the river with a spinning rod, or they're sitting with a rod up in the air, or a couple of rods pike fishing, something like that, you know. I think the sight of someone fishing 11 metres on the pole is alien to people. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean, Neil. There's a few of them down here to my left. I can't think. I might get the reference wrong, but I think that there's I think it's in the film Caddyshack, which is what, I don't know, 1985, something like that. And then they go to Chris and the guys' boat, and the bottles, I don't remember, but the boat sinks or something. But I think he's like the golf player, and I'm sure he's got a boat and he's got a captain's hat. I think maybe a boat goes over it, or the guy crashes into his boat, something like that. But that's the sort of image I've got in my head of some of the Sunday afternoon captains that come up the Thames. No, it's funny. As I said, I'm sure there's some very nice boat owners, and in fact I know a few boat owners in Florida, and they're very nice people. But yeah. The Thames Navy is something akin to Dad's army in many ways. Captain Mannering on the boat. Come on, fish. fished this stretch, I sat just opposite the pipe, just down to this left ear. Then I fished the stick float. I've caught a fish, a chuck, roach, dace and chub through here in the summer, chublets. Absolutely rammed with fish. People come along and they're like, wow, I didn't realise there were so many fish here. And it's like, yeah, it's absolutely solid. It's not right now, is it? It's not right now. Yeah, is it? Well, we fished a match on the Kennet and Avon the other week. And it was canoeists. There must be a local canoe club. And on the stretch we were on, and I want to say 20 canoeists came down in separate canoes. And I haven't got anything against other people using the river, do you know what I mean, or the canal. You know, everyone's entitled to share it. You know, my missus, she does open water swimming in the river just further down from where I am. You know, there's all sorts of uses for the river. But these canoeists, they seem to aim for the between you and the middle. You know, they weren't going along the far bank. They were trying to go the near bank, as if it was intentionally trying to make you all move your poles. It was that was a strange old visit to the Kennet and Avon Canal. Now there's a big German Shepherd eyeing up my ground bait to the right, and I think in this instance, if it wants to eat it, I'm just going to let it. I don't fancy putting my hand near it to try and push it away. Oh, it's a bit of a dog, that is. Lovely dog, but there you go. Finally, look, one dog owner that can control his dog. I can't remember can't remember, but there was a bunch of guys practicing for Winter League on it. I can't even remember the name of the town we were in. Oh, it was down past Newbury. It was next to Newbury. I can't remember what it's called now. Racking my brain. Hungerford. Might have been Hungerford. We had to walk through the church to get to the canal. It was a nice bit of canal, actually. Yeah, I think it was Hungerford. Right, let's make a little. A lot of people out for a Boxing Day walk. There we go. Now that uncontrollable dog. Right, how much power have we got left on the phone? 24. It's not long. Maybe we've got another half hour. And that'll be 3.5 hours, and that'll be a good enough attempt to catch a fish today, I think. Oh, right, I don't know. I've never fished it. Never fished it. people and see what they say. So a day at Tunnel, catching a few F1s, that'd be nice. And I'll do a day at Royal Berkshire, which will be F1s and carp, F1s and small carp. That'd be nice. And then, or maybe dobbing some bread. Oh yeah, that. Oh. Yeah. Now I'm thinking maybe I'll dob some bread one of those days, either at Tunnel or Royal Berkshire. Yeah, maybe I might do that to mix it up. I have a practice day at Gold Valley, and then I'll fish another match at Gold, if there's one on Syndicate Lake. I think I have to work out which day I'm going to do which, and then another day down the river, probably fishing the feeder for bream. And I've got a particular peg in mind for that. So that's what the next week looks like. Paddle boarders. yeah, not even bother. Yeah, the silver's, well, it is absolutely solid, right? I fished it, like I said, this stretch all the way from Abingdon Lock to my right, all the way down here, through here, all the way down to the peg I call the steps, further down here, and then into the sections of the cricket field where the Thames Festival and stuff is. It's absolutely solid with silvers. It just so happens that Boxing Day is not the day to come and catch them, not where I am. But I wonder if there's silvers right up by the lock. I caught a 26-pound pike earlier in the year, just in that weir pool. I'm sure that fish is having a field day, but that was in the summer. But yeah, it's absolutely solid, I know it is. I think from a good pleasure fishing day, double rods, feeders in here, in this stretch, to try and catch some chub with some smelly baits, I think could be good fun. But there is another stretch on the Sutton Courtney water where I'm confident of catching bream, so I might go and fish that later in the week. And I just need to get some things worked out in my head for fishing at Gold, so I think I'll have a practice day down at Gold on the Syndicate Lake. It should be good for some carp and some F1s. And maybe skimmers and bream on the pole. I'm not sure actually. Yeah, I could do that. But it's been interesting today. It's been low battery. It's been interesting. I've thought, you know, it's given me a good time to think about quite a few things. Right, so now I've put in. Yeah, maybe I have to go and look up some stinky cheese paste recipes. Get cooking. Right, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last putting of the day. So one final reminder, if you've enjoyed listening to me prattle on about not catching fish for the last couple of hours and you're not subscribed, if you could hit that button, I'd really appreciate it. It's a free way to support the channel, helps with visibility and stuff, and give it a thumbs up, and if you turn the notifications on, you'll see when I go live again, which should be of this week, closely followed by Friday, Saturday and Sunday and Monday. Maybe it's 5 days on the bounce, we'll see. That's a lot of fishing, and hopefully some more fish. We'll go and fish maggots at Tunnel Barn. I should get plenty of bites, I think. But yeah, it's been an interesting day on the river today. I've done what, three and a bit hours, I think. I've had some tube maggots, didn't see the bite, but nothing positive. I think the peg's a bit too shallow and the bait's not quite smelly enough. That's the challenge. I need to be fishing a deeper part of the river. Oh, another uncontrolled dog. Here it comes, look. Look. Molly, this one's called. There you go. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. That dog's having a laugh. It's absolutely having a laugh. And then it goes back and gets a good girl. It does make me giggle. Come to the river and watch your dog do absolutely what it wants. In the summer they're all just in the river, it's even better. So I think the good dog handling award of the day goes to the owner of the German Shepherd dog that did exactly what his owner told him to do. No messing about. Look at these other breeds, just are having a laugh. Right. How long we got left on the phone? 15%? 15%. Come on, fish, there's still time. There's still time. Alright, we'll do one more putting now. We'll do one more putting and I'll do what you reckon. Worm stick. Like, oh, barbel. How long have we got? 13% left on the phone. Right, well, that's the beauty of live fishing. It also means you might blank. Right. I see my future F1s. Got some carp. And a warm bath. I think that's what's going to go on. Only a couple of degrees colder today, but boy am I frozen. I think it's thermals weather now. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's from a lot. Didn't even empty that bit of feeder. Yeah, that's the perfect pole feeder setup. Preston hook up with some electrical tape. Right, don't know. So that's my lot today. Thanks for tuning in. It was a good old chit chat, enjoyed that. It's a bit of a giggle. Shame there was no fish. But that's fishing. I've got to try these things and roll them out. I will pack up, get some thoughts about where I'm going to go over the next couple of days, plan it out. I think I'll post it on the community tab on the page of what the plan is for the rest of the week and the Christmas break, and maybe I'll see you for the next one. But thanks for joining, I really appreciate it. Smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will see you again soon. Right, when we're going.